You were told loyalty would pay off. It didn't. In fact, for the average professional, loyalty quietly costs somewhere between $300,000 and $500,000 over a lifetime. That number sounds insane. It sounds exaggerated. It sounds like clickbait. It's not. The standard advice goes like this: stay with one company, work hard, prove yourself, climb the ladder, and eventually you'll be rewarded. Raises will come, stability will come, security will come. That advice feels moral. It feels responsible. It feels safe. It is also mathematically wrong. And today I'm going to prove it. Not with vibes, not with anecdotes alone, with numbers, with psychology, with the same math your employer understands perfectly but never explains to you. Because once you see the numbers, you realize something uncomfortable. Loyalty is no longer a virtue in modern labor markets. It's a discount your employer applies to your wages. And the system depends on you never running the math. Here's why people fall for this lie. First, status signaling. Staying at one company for 10 years sounds respectable. It signals reliability. It signals maturity. It signals that you're not risky. Humans crave social approval, and companies know that. So they frame loyalty as character instead of what it actually is, a cost-saving mechanism. Then there's sunk cost fallacy. You've already spent years building relationships, learning internal systems, adapting to corporate politics. Leaving feels like throwing all that away. So you stay even when the numbers stop making sense. And then there's fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of rejection, fear of starting over, fear that maybe you're not as valuable on the open market as you hope. Employers quietly benefit from that fear. The less often you test your market value, the easier it is to underpay you. If you're struggling financially despite doing everything right, this isn't because you failed. It's because the rules changed and no one updated the advice. Let's get into the math. Meet Toby. Toby graduates at 22 and lands an entry-level job paying $50,000 a year. He's grateful. He's motivated. He believes loyalty matters. Scenario A is the standard path, the loyal path. Toby stays at the same company for 10 years. Every year he gets a raise. It averages 3%. Some years it's 2%. Some years it's 4%. HR frames this as competitive. Here's what that looks like. Year 1, $50,000. Year 2, $51,500. Year 3, $53,045. Year 4, $54,636. Year 5, $56,275. Year 6, $57,964. Year 7, $59,703. Year 8, $61,494. Year 9, $63,339. Year 10, $65,239. After a decade of loyalty, Toby earns about $65,000. Total earnings over 10 years, roughly $575,000 before tax. Now factor in inflation averaging around 3%. In real purchasing power, Toby barely moved. His lifestyle improved slightly, but not meaningfully. Rent went up, healthcare went up, food went up. Time disappeared. Now scenario B. Same Toby, same skills, same intelligence, different strategy. Instead of staying loyal, Toby treats his career like a market asset. Every 2 to 3 years he tests his value. He interviews. He leaves when the math makes sense. Year 1, $50,000. Year 3 job hop, $65,000. Year 5 job hop, $85,000. Year 8 job hop, $110,000. These aren't fantasy numbers. They're consistent with labor market data across tech, finance, marketing, consulting, and even operations roles. Let's total this up. Total earnings over 10 years, roughly $820,000. That's a $245,000 difference in the first decade alone. Now extend this over a 40-year career. The loyal path compounds slowly. The hopping path compounds aggressively. The gap doesn't stay at $200,000. It explodes. Conservatively, the lifetime difference approaches $500,000, often more. And that's just salary. We haven't even touched bonuses, equity, retirement contributions, or the opportunity cost of underpaid years. Here's the part no one tells you. Companies do not budget raises the same way they budget new hires. Internal raises are capped. External offers are market-driven. That's not an accident, it's a strategy. When you stay, you're priced based on your past salary. When you leave, you're priced based on market demand. Loyalty anchors you to yesterday's worth. Job hopping forces employers to pay today's price. Now let's talk about taxes and opportunity cost, because this is where the pain multiplies. Higher early career earnings don't just give you nicer things. They give you leverage. They increase your retirement contributions earlier, which compounds for decades. They let you invest more when time is on your side. An extra $15,000 at age 25 is not the same as $15,000 at 45. One compounds for 20 years. The other barely moves the needle. By staying loyal early, you don't just lose income, you lose time. And time is the most expensive thing you can give away cheaply. This is why the system loves loyalty narratives. They slow your earning curve when it matters most. Let's ground this with a real-world example. In 2022, multiple labor studies showed that employees who switched jobs saw wage increases between 10 and 20% on average. Those who stayed saw raises closer to 3%. The gap widened during high inflation periods, meaning loyal workers effectively took pay cuts while switchers stayed ahead. Companies framed this as budget constraints. But notice something interesting. Those same companies somehow found the money to pay new hires market rates. That tells you everything. Now back to Toby. At age 32, loyal Toby earns $65,000. Job-hopping Toby earns over $100,000. Their lifestyles are different. Their stress levels are different. Their bargaining power is different. One negotiates from fear. The other negotiates from options. And here's the psychological trap that keeps loyal Toby stuck. Identity. He's the dependable one. He's part of the family. He's told he's valued. But value without leverage is just a compliment. Meanwhile, the system quietly extracts surplus value from his reluctance to leave. Now, before someone panics, this isn't an argument for reckless quitting every 6 months. Employers can spot instability. There's a difference between strategic mobility and chaos. This is about timing and leverage. Which brings us to the reality check. What should you actually do once you understand this? First, detach morality from employment. Loyalty is not a moral category in a profit-driven system. It's a business decision. Treat it like one. Second, measure your compensation against the external market every year, even if you're happy. Ignorance is expensive. Third, front-load your career earnings. Early money is worth more than late money because of compounding, flexibility, and risk tolerance. Fourth, if you stay, extract something valuable. Skills, equity, title inflation that helps your next move. Don't stay for promises, stay for assets. Fifth, negotiate with data, not emotion. Employers respect market evidence more than dedication speeches. And finally, build optionality, side income, portable skills, professional networks that don't depend on one logo on your resume. Optionality is the antidote to exploitation. This isn't about being disloyal, it's about being realistic. The old social contract is gone, the one where companies rewarded decades of service with pensions and security. Today's system rewards flexibility and silence. The more silent you are about your market value, the more expensive that silence becomes. Here's the entire lesson in one sentence. In a market economy, loyalty without leverage is a financial liability. And this loyalty trap connects directly to another lie you've been told, that promotions are always progress. Because often, promotions lock you in, slow your mobility, and make you even cheaper per hour. That's the next trap. Because once you understand how staying costs you $500,000, you'll never look at career advice the same way again. The system isn't broken, it's optimized. Just not for you.